Dexter Resurrection brings our favorite serial killer back from the dead, this time literally. After the wild ending of New Blood, where his son Harrison shot him, a lot of people assumed that was the end. But nope, Dexter survived. Turns out the freezing temps in upstate New York slowed the bleeding just enough for him to be found in time. He wakes up from a coma in New York City, and that's where things pick up. But he's not the same guy we used to know. Dexter's older now, in his 50s, and we can tell he's not sprinting through crime scenes or sneaking around like he used to. He's slower, more careful, and a lot more in his head. Michael C. Hall said in interviews that this version of Dexter is more introspective. He's asking himself the hard questions, like, why is he still alive? What does he do with this second chance? And can he ever really stop being who he is? One of the biggest things driving his evolution is the whole fatherhood angle. Harrison still haunts him, not in a ghostly way, but emotionally. Dexter wants to reconnect, but he's scared he'll ruin Harrison's life all over again. That fear kind of defines him now. He's still got the dark passenger, but there's a part of him that wants to live without it. The show leans into that inner conflict, and it makes for some solid character work. The blood slides are back too. Yep, those little trophies are part of his life again, which says a lot. It's like no matter how much he tries to change, there's always that part of him that needs control and needs ritual. So while he might be trying to grow as a person, the killer in him is still very much alive. The new cast adds a ton to the mix. Uma Thurman plays a mysterious woman named Charlie, who's been described as dangerous and unpredictable. She's definitely not just a side character. Early hints suggest she might be a serious threat, or maybe even someone Dexter sees part of himself in. Then there's Neil Patrick Harris, who shows up as Lowell, a guy with some deep, dark secrets of his own. He's got a completely new look, and fans are already buzzing about what his role means. And for fans of the prequel series Original Sin, there's a fun connection. Patrick Gibson, who plays young Dexter, actually visited the set of Resurrection to study Hall's performance. That kind of continuity shows how seriously the team is taking the character's evolution. Dexter Resurrection is taking our favorite blood spatter guy out of the Florida heat and dropping him into the cold, gritty streets of New York City. But somehow, it still totally feels like classic Dexter. The sun-soaked pastels of Miami might be gone, but the eerie, clinical tone of the show is very much alive. Even though the settings changed, the team behind the show clearly knows what made the original so iconic. The new sets strike this cool balance between fresh and familiar, and fans will definitely pick up on all the subtle and not-so-subtle nods to earlier seasons. It's not just nostalgia, though. It feels like growth, like Dexter's world evolved with him. Filming officially kicked off back in January 2025, with Michael C. Hall sharing a behind-the-scenes video from day one. He's bundled up in a snowy New York City street, looking like a guy who literally just crawled out of a coma, which, technically, Dexter did. That first glimpse told us a lot. It wasn't a reboot, it wasn't a reset, it was a continuation with a twist. New city, new people, same dark passenger lurking beneath the surface. One of the most impressive things is how the production design makes New York feel like a natural extension of Dexter's world. We're not in Miami anymore. No palm trees, no neon nightlife, but the atmosphere still hits that unsettling sweet spot. The creepy, sterile vibe that fans loved is still baked into the new environments. Certain interiors, like Dexter's new hideout and some of the darker sets, carry that signature greenish lighting and sharp, clean lines. And then there's the blood slides. Yep, they're back. Behind-the-scenes photos show Dexter's old slide box, filled with those eerie little glass trophies. It's kind of surreal to see them again, especially after everything that went down in New Blood. Their return raises all kinds of questions. Is he slipping back into old habits? Trying to regain some kind of twisted control over his life? Whatever the reason, that little box still packs an emotional punch. But it's not all darkness and brooding. There are some quirky new touches that keep things interesting. For example, Dexter's driving around in a beat-up '95 Ford Bronco with a camo wrap and alien stickers plastered all over it. It's random, hilarious, and somehow totally on brand. It's a reminder that the show still has its weird, dry sense of humor tucked beneath all the tension. Even though they're filming on real New York streets instead of sound stages, the show still feels familiar. The way scenes are framed, the way Dexter moves through the world, it all feels intentionally crafted to remind us who he is and what kind of story we're in. Composer Pat Irwin is back, putting a fresh spin on Dexter's iconic sound while staying true to what made it memorable. Building on the work of the late Daniel Licht, Irwin gives the original score a grittier, more urban vibe. The music still feels dark and suspenseful. Irwin, who also scored Dexter New Blood, keeps some of Licht's haunting themes but layers in experimental sounds, like sizzling bacon and razors, to crank up the tension. It's a bold update that pays respect to the original while giving it a new feel that fits the prequel's more grounded and intense tone. And in a fun behind-the-scenes moment, Patrick Gibson, who plays young Dexter in the prequel Original Sin, visited the set to study Hall's performance. A cool full-circle nod that shows just how much care the team is putting into continuity. One thing that stands out right away in Dexter Resurrection is how good it looks. The show isn't just visually strong, it's on a whole new level. Dexter has always had a distinct visual style, from the clean, clinical look of crime scenes to the warm, deceptive glow of Miami. But now, with the gritty New York backdrop and upgraded behind-the-scenes tech, the aesthetic feels sharper, moodier, and way more cinematic. A big part of that visual upgrade comes down to how the team is using cutting-edge technology, especially when it comes to the VFX. One of the coolest changes? They're using LED volume stages for some of the driving scenes. If you haven't heard of that, it's the same high-tech setup used on shows like The Mandalorian. Instead of old-school green screens or shooting on real roads, they place the actor in a real car on a soundstage and surround the set with massive LED walls that play ultra-high-res video footage of actual New York streets. The result? A driving scene that looks incredibly real, with the right reflections, lighting shifts, and movement. So when you see Dexter driving around in his beat-up old Ford Bronco, complete with camo wrap and alien stickers, you'd never guess it was filmed in a studio. The lighting on his face changes as he passes streetlights, and reflections in the windows move just like they would on real roads. It's insanely immersive and way more effective than traditional techniques. It also allows for more controlled shooting without sacrificing realism. Another standout moment? A nighttime scene filmed on a yacht in New York Harbor. Behind-the-scenes photos showed a gorgeous skyline, moody lighting, and the Statue of Liberty glowing in the background. The whole thing just looks stunning. The reflections on the water, the movement of the boat, the shifting skyline, all of it was pulled off with clean, understated VFX work. What's great is that the show isn't relying on over-the-top visuals to impress. Instead, the VFX are used to subtly enhance the realism, whether it's adding depth to an alleyway, adjusting city lighting in post, or seamlessly stitching together shots from different locations. It all feels natural. The show has that every episode looks like a movie vibe that fans have already been buzzing about online. The team clearly put a lot of care into blending practical sets, real New York City locations, and just the right amount of digital magic. The result is a show that looks and feels premium, but never loses the eerie, unsettling tone that made Dexter iconic in the first place. It's stylish, it's sharp, and it totally fits this darker chapter in Dexter's story. With Dexter Resurrection, the show returns stronger and moodier, going deeper into Dexter's complicated mind. With gritty New York streets and killer visuals, it feels fresh but still totally true to what made the original so great. Thanks for watching Collider. See you next time.